am Cheryl, and this is Cheryl's Coffee. And I am so glad you're here. If you're tuning in recently, or if you're finding this video a year or two from now, thank you for being here. This is going to be episode 1. So let's jump in. I'm going to give you a little bit of history about me, why I decided to start this podcast, and just what I'm hoping to do with it and what I'm not hoping to do with it. Got to have examples and non-examples. So first of all, this is Cheryl's Coffee. So those of you who know me know I love 2 things to drink, coffee and wine. And in the mornings, I'm going to always have my coffee. And so my hope is that you'll make yourself a fresh pot of coffee and you will listen, or in the afternoons, maybe you'll pour wine and listen, or out on a walk, whatever is your podcasting kind of favorite thing to do, driving. And you'll listen in, and I hope that I'll make connections with you and maybe open your eyes to some things, confirm your beliefs, or maybe challenge your beliefs. And that's kind of what I love to do. I've been a professional talker my whole life. That's what I do. I love to talk. I love to listen. And I love to be around super smart people, especially smart, sometimes smart ass, but mostly smart women who challenge me, confirm me, and help me grow. And I think you kind of need all 3 of those things when you're in the growing process. A little bit of challenge, a little bit of confirmation, and someone who's going to talk to you and listen to you. And so I hope I can be that for you. I have so many people in my life that are that kind of person for me. And I have some that I know I'm their person as well. So I used to do a lot of live videos back in the day when Facebook Live was a thing. Does anybody remember that? Like Facebook Lives came out and everybody was doing them for everything, right? And I kind of did them for some business stuff, mom topics, networking. I did them with one of my, at the time, really was not a close friend, but we were like-minded. She's a smart woman like I am, and likes to talk. And we just started making videos, and I didn't realize the impact of it until one day we also like to lunch and coffee, and we were having lunch, and these 2 ladies came up and they're like, "We think we know y'all. Are you Cheryl and other name?" And we're like, "Yeah." We're like, "We love your videos." And we just were like, "What?" It's just a small, in our town, which is not a small town, it's a medium town, but just to have that connection and know that somebody's out there listening was super affirming. And we did that for so long and just kind of fell out of the wayside, and COVID happened and all the things, and just got out of the habit. But I've always had that, which I think probably a lot of people do. You have that desire down inside to share and to talk and to be around people that are like-minded like you. And this is one way that I felt like I could kind of start that up again. So I'm not trying to make $1 million. I wouldn't be sad if I made $1 million for the podcast, but I'm not trying to. This is really about me and what I want as I'm 46. I'll be 47 in 2 months. Well, 1 month now. It's October. I know a few things. People who have known me my whole life said I was born like a 35-year-old woman. Even when I was in high school, my friends were like, "You're like an old woman," because we thought 35 was old back then. I know what I know. I know what I don't know. My beliefs are deep-seated beliefs. But my thirst for knowledge and finding out answers is, now that I know a lot of people, it's rare. A lot of people don't dig and want to really find primary sources, really find the real information. They want to be spoon-fed stuff. And I don't know if that's because I was a student in the 80s and I had teachers who grew up in, the 40s and 50s during World War I and II, and through propaganda and all of those kinds of things that were happening. And some of them were teens and early 20s through the 70s. And my teachers were amazing, even in the small town I lived in, and really helped us to learn to dig for real information. And so that's me. If I don't see it with my own eyes or watch a video with my own eyes, even then, sometimes I don't believe it. And I feel like that's kind of a rare thing. I am a nerd and I don't even care. I'm a nerd. I've been a nerd my whole life. And I check 5-ish news stations every single morning of varying thoughts. I check some overseas, especially if something's going around, and I'm not checking the the big ones. I will dig to get to the local bubblegum news station where I feel like I'm getting the real information. So if I share something, you can bet I have cross-checked it. I have cross-referenced it. I have dug down to the deep, to the real grandma, the real person who it happened to, the actual school board video, the actual bill that's signed in, primary sources, all of those things. Or I'll tell you, hey, I only saw this on a fleeting moment. I have no idea if it's true or not. So that's what I got. So if you're one of those women or men, this is mostly probably women, but it could be some men too, like me, that came out of COVID just like tired emotionally, physically. I hope that you can find some common ground with me. During COVID, it was rough. I live in a southern state of Texas. Woohoo! I've only ever lived in Texas. I don't care what anybody says. That's what I do. I'm married. My husband is not from Texas, and I tell this story like I know how a lot of men are. They marry someone and then they take the woman away from their family. And I'm real close with my family, especially my sisters. And I ain't leaving Texas. It ain't happening. And so I was getting ready to get married the morning of my wedding, and I'm laying in the bathtub, just chilling. My sister's bringing me, bath salts and all the things to get ready. And I called my husband. I hadn't seen him since, I guess, the night before the rehearsal dinner. And I'm like, hey, just one more time before 7:00 tonight. Like, we ain't moving. Like, I just want to hear you say it one more time. Like, we ain't moving out of Texas. Like, not after we have kids, not after a few years. Like, oh, I did it for you. Now we're moving. Like, I just can't. And and he's like, no, I want to be in Texas. I came to Texas for a reason. I want us to start our family. And he's never, ever, ever, ever. And we visit. I'm sure it'll be lovely to live in his hometown, our home state, but I just can't. And I love all things Texas. So if you don't like Texas, sorry, maybe you don't listen, because that's just, I'm born and bred. That's made me what I am. And I love the people of Texas, most of them. But anyway, coming out of COVID, man, it's like a whole nother world, I feel like we weren't as crazy as some places in the United States, in the world, but the tiredness of it. I'm an educator, so obviously homeschooling the kids was not horrible. And I knew what to do. I've definitely had an easier go of that than a lot of people. And my sisters who were not teachers, my friends that are not teachers, and I made baskets and took them around and gave them, stuff to do and tried to help out in the way that I can. But the change from COVID to now, man, some good things like more people podcasting, more people on Facebook or Instagram. My son says Facebook's for the old people. I guess I'm the old people, more flipped classroom environments, more online programs for people to get their degrees. All of that I think is good. But there's still, I had a preschooler during COVID, and he still struggles with some letter sound recognition because his teacher wouldn't, I begged her, please put on a screen so the kids can see your face making sounds with your lips, and they wouldn't do it. But anyway, I digress on that. So that's what we're going to be talking about. This one's going to be short because it's really just an introduction. We will be on a couple of different platforms. I don't know which ones totally. You know, one of the things that kept me from starting this for so long was the fear of it not being perfect, right? Where do I put it? Do I have perfect backgrounds? What am I going to talk about? La, 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 la. And then I remembered back in the day when I did my videos on Facebook Live, sometimes I just push the button. Just push the button, right? You could, and there's no editing there. I guess I'm going to have to do some editing here for podcasts, but I may not because I kind of like not editing. It becomes stifling. So I challenge you today to find something to just jump in. Just jump in. It's a phrase I started a few years ago. I kind of had a career shift, some life things, and just me growing, and just jump in, right? That fear of being perfect is what holds especially women born in that were in the 80s and 90s. We always want to be perfect, the way we look, our hair, blah, blah, blah. And that fear, it keeps us from doing stuff, right? Just jump in. I am a little bit of a risk taker, more than my sisters, because I'm the third born. And I see a lot of that in my third born child, who is quite a bit younger than his siblings, like I was. And he has that jump in mentality more than I had, and definitely more than my firstborn son. And I love that. It gets him in trouble sometimes, and it gets me in trouble sometimes. But man, it can be really good when others are afraid to do something and you just jump in. It's not perfect, but it's better than not doing it. And so I challenge you today, find something where you can jump in, experience it, good, the bad, the ugly. I bet there's going to be more good than the bad and the ugly. And you might learn something about yourself as well. So have a wonderful, wonderful day. I will be posting soon a sponsor link. I will wait to tell you guys about that. But I hope that you have enjoyed having coffee with me today, or your wine or your water, and that I see you and get to spend some time with you in future podcasts soon. Bye.